Hey kids, it's Mark Miller here. Giant blue guy. Speaking of blue guys, it's my friend Fred over there. And Rory, how are you doing over there in the UK?
My friend, I'm doing good.
And
I've reached the end of my true work day, and now I get to have some fun with you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. And just so everybody can visualize it, you're like standing at a street corner near a tube station in downtown London right now as we talk, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it sounds like.
Box and big red bus going past. It's all very, very London.
All right, cool. I got TaleSpire up here in the background. We're modding it today. We're trying to create. So the challenge is this. TaleSpire doesn't really come with any spell effects in the game. And I say doesn't really because what it really does is it comes with two hidden spell effects, which are both kind of lame. One that doesn't seem to work very well. Let's come over here. And let's go ahead and bring up our app for modifying it. We'll trigger that, just kind of, ground you, get you oriented here. List the effects here. There's two, Circle Dust and Magic Missile. Magic Missile, there it is right there. Now at first it looks really cool until you start realizing, oh wait, it's just all in pink because it's the renderers where the shaders aren't found, I think is what's going on. But it's cool. I can fire off multiples of these, right? It's not bad. It shows that there's something there, but they're hidden.
It shows promise, and we shouldn't forget that TaleSpire is in early access, and they'll get there over time, but they're not getting there quite quickly enough for us, are they?
Well, they might also not go there. I don't think they've necessarily really promised this or overpromised this at all. Let me go with the Circle Dust. Why is it? That's so weird. I'm seeing. I don't know if you can see this or not, Rory. Right here, characters right after the word dust are showing up. I haven't seen this before. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I can't. If I hit delete there, it looks like they're gone. Okay. I don't know what it was. Maybe a return or something. Anyway, let's play this Circle Dust. You have to look really closely. It's right in there. It's right going to be. In fact, let's just move this guy away. It's going to be right around in that space. Play effect. See that? You barely see it. I don't know. Compression may even. What'd you say?
I think I'm currently suffering compression. I'm just about to axe my kid's Wi-Fi to claim back the bandwidth.
Yeah. The kids don't like me over there, by the way. There it is right there. There you can see it. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
Edge of my finger. That's Circle Dust. Hector HSC's out there. Hi, Hector. So that's what comes with TaleSpire. But we want to, take it to the next level. And so we figured out a way to bring in like a bunch of other effects. And some of the ones that I had in before aren't here anymore, but you're just going to see. So here is like a water effect. Cool. So let's turn stuff down. Imagine a player inside the water effect, right? Cool. That's what we want to do. We want to be able to trigger that, but we want to also be able to make changes to it. So, what'd you say?
The water effect, the sound more specifically, is quite a lot louder than you, at least over our connection. I'm not sure if it's the same.
No, it's probably super important. Let's fix that. Where is my audio properties? Looks like that folder got shot. Open it up here. Edit menu. Well, actually, that's advanced. I don't actually want advanced. I want regular audio control.
That's interesting. It's only the emanating
I didn't hear you, Rory. What did you say?
So I think it's only the audio that's emanating from the game itself. So the water effect sound, I think, is coming from the music playing. Fine, it's not too bad. Just that.
Rory, we're like your connection is like not great right now, and I did not actually. I don't think we were able to really hear what you said. I'm going to do this. I'm going to crank up my volume. Normally I have the meters, upper meter level, the output levels, and I don't see that. Oh, there it is, I bet. There it is. All right. Now I have good feedback. Okay. Check, 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 check. Better. That's probably better. Rory, thanks so much. And Rory, I'm not sure, did you, are you still there?
I'm still here. For some reason, not the greatest bandwidth for some reason, but hey.
Just sound great now. What did you say before?
I was saying that in relative terms, your volume seems fine, the music in the background is fine, but it was just the water effect from within the game itself.
Too loud.
So game sound was quite loud.
And that was in your earphones, is that right? Or did you listen to the show?
I did not listen to the show.
Okay, I have individual desktop for your control for yours. Here it is again, one more time. There it is. Still loud for you?
I cannot hear the sound at all for the water.
Okay, how about now?
That's good.
Good level? Okay. All right. So, and last time we worked on this test effects button is what we did. This is after you left, Roy. But the idea is we have here. This is what the code for it. We would create something called a composite effect, which you were here for, I think, while we were building. And where you saw me write some of these pieces here. There's a prefab name that we connect with. There's property changers that we have associated with that. There is then, it's a nested list of itself. So it's got potentially children.
Yep.
Got some scripts that we're going to add to this composite effect if we want to. And in fairness, we're probably going to change this from a string to something else. Change scripts to a more sophisticated class, because we need to be able to set properties for it as well.
Yeah.
Like, for example, a script might have a custom property, so we need to have the property settings. I'll just say to include property settings, like that. Okay? All right. Now, what we did as a test is we created a new one of these somewhere here.
Okay.
We created this guy right here. Let's extract this into its own method. Call it create custom fire effect. Like that. Oh, what's going on with result and serialized object? Oh, we're doing both of them. Okay, hold on a second. Let's go back and let's do this. Or maybe better this. Probably way better. All right, create custom fire effect. Like that. All right, and all it's doing is, oh geez, and look at this. Hold on. One more time. Create custom fire effect. All right, there it is. And so it's going to create a new composite effect. It's going to say, I want to work with the medium fire prefab.
Yep.
I want to add a property change. Look at this. This is so cool. So what's happening here is that right there. So this says, look, if I have it in angle brackets right here, that means we're going to make a get component call. So if you're familiar with Unity, you can attach components to objects and you can get them by type. And so what I'm saying is get the transfer component. And then inside of that, let's access a property called local scale. And we wrote something to essentially parse this and apply reflection to grab that value, grab the property for it, and find it as either a property or a field. So we don't even need to know if it's a property or field. We just give it a path. And then this method, change vector 3, creates an instance that is capable of changing the vector 3, and then we pass in the new values we want. Okay, and then we're also adding a property, main particle system. So again, we're grabbing that component, main particle system. Then we're accessing main start color and setting it equal to, what is it? This cool syntax, which I don't know if you were around for or not when I wrote that.
No.
So basically, this is like a gradient, is what I've defined here. That's going to
kind of a start and an end color range. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a simple gradient. Okay. And cool. And that's called a change min-max gradient. That's what that is.
Can I assume for the moment that we're only supporting there being one get componentable thing of each type? So, for example, there's only likely to be one transform and one particle system,
right?
And we're getting the first of those.
Right. Well, my understanding is you can't actually add a second particle system to an existing game object.
That will certainly make that easier.
In Unity, I've tried. I recall trying that and having a problem with it. So we can just duplicate that right now. Create empty, add component, particle system, like that. And let's add another component. Where is, what I have to do? Scroll down. There we go. Add component, another particle system. Can't do it. Already contains the same component. I don't know if that's true across the board, but it's for the things I want to modify. It is true. So at least so far that I've found.
Fair enough.
Maybe we'll extend this though, if we need to like give it a name, something like this. You know?
Yeah, that would. I mean, to be fair, I'm assuming you've already come across this to some degree, because when you reach out to get that transform, even in reflection, you're either going to be getting back a singular object or an enumerable item from which you must then pick the first.
Yeah, well, the call to get component just is used all the time that I've seen in sample code for Unity. And get component returns the first one that it finds. Okay. So anyway, we just make those two simple changes right here. We've got, what is this? This is a little bit of blue. All right, sorry, a little bit of green and a lot of blue. So it goes from blue to, looks like green and a little bit of blue. So mostly green. So kind of a light green. So blue to light green is what it does. So the medium fire, just so you know, if we come out over here and we do the medium fire effect, what? Why don't I see it? Oh, it's on this. Nope, I don't see it on the other machine. Hold on a second. Let's make this go. Really? I don't see medium fire here. I think we have a loading problem. But also, it's weird. Oh, here it is down. It's down on the other. It is on the other screen. Okay, just wasn't lined up. There it is, right there. So there's medium fire. That's what it looks like now.
Which is, in fairness, in no way green or blue.
Right. Let's just try it. Let's try the test effect. So test effect, what it does is it creates this composite effect. Mod. It's essentially a modding class, a class to mod. And it adds it, gives it a name, test fire effect. And then when I click button test effects, I get it. And then we, put out some log messages if we have any problems with it. And then let's see what's going on. I've got this test instance ID, which is just an ID for the testing effects. So I can only have one on at a time. So I clear off the last one. So when we hit that button, we expect to see the fire effect, which was up there running. Let's do it again. This should go away when we hit that test effect button. We get the positions of two characters, Janice and Merkin, and then we, Janus, I should say, we create it, we call create on it, and then that's it. And that active creation should insert it somewhere inside it. And I think it's going to put it, I think it puts it near Janus, and I don't actually see Janus or Merkin here, so it might be good to drop both of those kids on the board. here.
I noticed the create call passes both their positions in. Is this intended to travel from and to?
Some effects might have that, so the answer is yes. I basically want to have this kind of global sense or sense of source and a sense of target. Who's casting the spell, and at what point on the board is receiving it. That's what's going on here. So character position, just to review that, yeah, it's associated with a character. So maybe we might change that into a vector instead. But that's essentially what's going on. Okay?
So our example essentially is Merkin is casting this at Janus.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so let's do test effects, and there you go.
There you go, and you can see the additional effects that have been added there, the clear blue and green. There was no part. I mean, you can see the second effect there on the side. It's not actually got rid of it. So for comparison purposes, those colors are quite different, and it demonstrates very well that this is working.
Right, and the scale has changed, that sort of thing. All right, so conceptually,
good concept.
Yeah, the composite effect is working conceptually. I don't have it working necessarily with children yet. It's not as complex as it needs to be. This is what I want to work on today. Now, over the weekend, I'm not sure how this happened. Oh, right, because Karen extended her trip. I had more time over the weekend. I had a day and a half. And guess what I did in a day and a half?
I have no idea.
I added this edit prefab button, which brings this up, the effect editor, which brings up this button right here, which allows me to select something. Let's go ahead and take medium fire, which is what we're working with. There's medium fire. And you can see these are the components built into it. And these are the properties of it. So medium fire has these different properties. So I can go in and say, let's go look at local position, for example. And notice over here, these are the positions of that fire, right, where that shows up. I should be able to just, at this point, hit test effect. And if we go back to TaleSpire, I think you're going to see a medium fire at 000, which is way out here. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
There it is right there. Yeah. So now I can come in and I can say, okay, cool. Let's go look at, see down here? These are the components that it found on it. So it's got a particle system on it. Let's go open up particle system. This is all just using reflection, right? Reflection plus, I'll show you the architecture that I built to do this, but it's not too bad. Well, let's start size. Let's see if we can change this. Let's make it like 1.15. There, you can see see immediately make a change there. Oh, 500, that's like insane. And then we can go back to the 0. Whatever set to that it had. The 0. Oh, we can restart to 0. That's kind of interesting as well. Okay, so you can make changes right here. Start color. I think this is using color over lifetime.
So you've made it a live property editor for the particular test effect. Right,
I did. Now, I think there's still some work that needs to be done. I don't think gradient, no, yeah, gradient's working now. It just didn't work when I first brought it up. But I think the reason why is, I think what happens when I bring it up for the first time, I think there's an extra event that's triggered that says, oh, we're changing, let's go back and change the other. Does that make sense? Right? But take a look at this. This is fairly cool. Now it's crude UI, right? It's like, everything's popping up on the wrong monitor, and it's got this and everything, it's a show dialogue, so everything freezes, right? Yep. But you get a sense here of, okay, what's happening, right?
It's still pretty powerful. I mean, this is the classic case of a collection of small effects massing up to be something really potentially quite impressive.
Well, that's kind of my hope, right? Is that's kind of where we want to go on this, all right? So let's talk a little bit about architecture on this. So I built this over the weekend. It's crude. It's not smooth and elegant. Like one of the pieces I want to, it actually occurred to me, as looking at this, I wanted to actually do today, is each of these pieces on here, a lot of them have an enabled property. See that? And if it's true, I want to see this in one way, and if it's false, I want to see it in a different way. Like color by speed is not enabled, right? Color by speed module enabled? Am I missing a dot there? Color by speed module dot enabled. Yeah, I think I'm missing a dot right there. All right, let's maybe work on that first. I want to make it so that these are grayed out if they're disabled. So, I got to figure out what class it is. Particle system, color over lifetime. So let's figure that out. Just going to use IntelliSense to get that. New particle system, that var p is equal to that. I'm going to say p dot color over lifetime, like that, and then we're going to drill into it. It's color over lifetime module. Hopefully, what I'm looking for is an ancestor. Oh, not an ancestor class. No interface. It's a struct.
Okay.
Fine. It's a little harder, but we can still do it. Okay. So what we want to do, let's go look at that. Let's go look at the nodes on that. Also, by the way, Rory, while I do this, you might help me out a bit by looking how to do custom color painting in WinForms on a tree node. That's where we are on this. Also, as a reminder, if you can write this down, I should get the dialog so when I click the buttons, they show centered of the main form instead of on default Windows default location, which is the worst default setting anyone ever decided.
The monitor that it comes up on.
Yes. Yeah. It just reminded me I need to make that change. Okay. Now let's go to the effects editor. This guy needs a what's his name? Label property name.
Here's an interesting fact for you there, Mark. I searched custom color drawing tree WinForms, and the first hit is Dev Express controls.
I was gonna say, I bet I know it. All right, so here's bug fix 1. We're gonna do a dot right there. Okay, so that dot is gonna solve this thing right here, this problem, so it's a little easier. It's easier to see. All right, so next, what I need to do, I need to check that enabled property. I need to use reflection to see if the object at the node is, well, if it has a property that's Boolean called enabled. And then if it's enabled, by all means, make it one color, and if it's not, make it another. Did you find a link for me on the, oh, you got it right there.
I think this is it. The tree view, is that what the control you're using?
Hector's asking, why reflection? Well, because
no API.
Yeah, no API because I'm totally outnumbered. In other words, there's no ancestor class. It's hundreds of potentially, hundreds of structs, maybe certainly scores of structs, all with an individual property called enable that's a Boolean. So no API. Yeah, it's basically, that's why I've got to use reflection. It's painful a little bit, not as elegant as I want it to be. Yeah, you're welcome, Hector. No worries. Ask any question you want because,
Oh, absolutely.
I'm trying to be a good guy. That's what I'm trying to do. And I'm like, it's occurred to me, I keep having these thoughts, Rory. I've been like selfish my entire life, man. And I'm like, I have got to, every single thing I thought about, I go, oh yeah, that was for selfish reasons. That was for selfish reasons. Oh my God, can I just come up with one thing that
It's not possible. Everything comes down to selfish reasons eventually. Because even if you're doing it for somebody else, there's an argument that says that there's a little piece of serotonin gets released when you make others happy, and then therefore that's for your benefit.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Anyway, it's a disturbing thought. You can use expressions more elegant, but harder to read and understand. What do you mean use expressions, Coding Gorilla?
That's tucking some bells in my head.
I'm like thinking he's I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Not regular. What?
No, not regular expressions. There's an expression tree which I think has to do with parsing logic.
Yeah, I think that every time I've seen that, it's like hey, we want you to build some code while you're running to go access the property. The problem is there seem to be like 30, 40 classes that are all individually structs with this, so I'd have to do something for all of them, and basically at some point I have to ask the question, look, are you of this class type? And then I can add the ability to do that. Yeah, yep, it is what you usually with Link builds the code on the fly. Yeah, I still think we have problems because, oh wait, maybe you're suggesting this, that we first use reflection to find the answer, and if we find it, then we build the code on the fly so it's faster, that sort of thing. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with it, Coding Gorilla, to be able to just, whip some out right now. So unless I've got some strong guidance from the chat room, I'm going to continue along the path I'm on here. Let's go figure out how when we load up the properties here. Zoom out a little bit. Fill in property nodes. Okay, so what this does, I didn't explain this, but what this does is when this fills in all of these nodes here, what it does is it just works hard enough to see if this piece has any properties inside of it, if this is a type. And if it doesn't, we're good. It just does this. But if it does, it gives a little plus, gives it a virtual property, and then when I open it, it says, oh, let's figure out what they are and open it up. Then in its set, it goes through and finds only those that are, it does the same thing, it repeats it, right?
Nice recursive thing. So for each node, it looks for properties, and then when you move to one of those nodes, it naturally has a type and will go looking for properties on that.
Right, and notice, because the reason it does this is for performance, but also because there are graph structures here that are loops, right? In other words, normalized, this will just keep going on forever, right? The normalized version of a vector will still be a vector that also has a normalized button on it, right? Or normalized property. So it's infinite. So that's what's
be lazy. It's only doing it as and when you need it. Otherwise, you'd be doing an infinite amount of work before displaying anything.
Right. But I added code so that at least it would figure out, look, is it empty or not? So we at least did that. At first, all of these had pluses next to them, and you'd go click it, and then this would, nothing would happen because we'd be like, oh, sorry. So at least it looks and appears more intelligent. It's performant. What'd you say?
I said now you've got that visual clue that there is more data here. It's an appropriate use of the plus minus.
Yeah. Okay. So now, so the filling in of the properties. So that's where we're add properties to nodes. Okay. Let's go follow that in. We add properties. We add fields. Okay. And so add properties in here. We get property. On the type that comes in, we make a reflective call to get all the properties that are public and instance. So I'm only doing those, modifying those for now, okay? Because I figured the stuff I'll want to do is mainly only just public. If anything's private, I'll add that later maybe, but because I was getting a lot of extra hits for things that were just noise.
Yeah.
If it's not null, we do a for each on that. I make a call to can skip property. In other words, this is something I can ignore. And let's see right here. Basically, hey, if you've got index parameters on it, I'm going to skip that property. Anything you're indexing, I don't care about. Let's see, check for solid modes. I check to see, does it have, okay, so here. So if it's read only, right? Set method is null. If it's read only, and it doesn't have any child nodes, then I skip it. Because I can't change it anyway. But if it's read only and it has child nodes, no worries, I'll return false, we can't skip it, and we'll keep processing it. Okay, so has any properties right there. I'm slightly confused. We'll have child nodes. Oh, I see. I didn't go back to where I was. Oh, maybe I... Hold on. Let's go back. Escape instead. Can skip property. Okay. All right. So if we can skip the property, and we continue. Otherwise, we create a new property node. This is a descendant of tree node.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, in creation of this, I totally ignored composite effect at my peril, potentially. And I need to pay attention to that today. Okay. So we need to kind of reintegrate that back in. We need to be thinking about that. Property node, here's where we create it. So it's tree node descendant. So here's where I want to change its color, is what I want to do. If it's, you know, corresponds. Here we go. Draw node.
Yep. So this is an event on the actual tree itself, and it's an event fired if you have indicated that this is I think there's an owner draw or something similar that is set to true, and at which point anytime it needs to draw a node, it will call this event and tell you about the data in the node. It'll pass you the node itself, I believe, and you can do a bunch of custom drawing. You can change the background, you can do things in a different color font, different size font, all that kind of stuff, and then return out of the event, and it'll come to you for the next one and the next one and the next one.
Looks like we need that. And then
Yep.
we need a handler on it. Okay, what's the handler? I'm hoping for optimized code in the handler here. Here it is right here. Who's out there? Smash 8 Tap. Hey, welcome Smash 8 Tap. Glad to have you with us. We are in WinForms today, writing essentially a property editor for spell effects. And Copper Beauty's here too. For spell effects in TaleSpire. So we're trying to do custom stuff. Here's one of our flame effects we built that we modified in here. Cool. Copper Beardy is in the house. Okay, so let's see here. If it's selected, oh yeah, they got everything. Wait. Use the default background and no text. Oh, wait. Maybe. By default. Interesting. I see. Draw the nodes.
And various things about it at your own discretion, and then say, actually, no, I'll delegate this back to the original code.
That's what I want.
Which is nice.
It's perfect. All right, so I'm going to copy that. Let's go add that into our form. Tree nodes, right there. Properties. And owner draw type, is that what it was called? Draw mode.
Owner draw.
Owner draw text. That's all I really want.
What kind of effect do we have in mind here? Because
gray, if it's disabled. What'd you say?
Well, change of text is one thing, but if you wanted to change the background at all, that might be slightly different.
I think it's draw node, right? I don't want to change the background. Yeah. I just want to change text color. Draw node.
Okay. Draw
node. Sweet. All right, so let's look at the code they gave us. Oh, this is nice. I like seeing things like that.
Now they're doing this on the basis of a standard tree node, which basically only has a tag property, but you've got a derived version, which I'm assuming carries more data with it.
Oh yeah.
So cast to that.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. With the e.state, basically, if we are selected, draw the background for selected node. I don't need that. I don't need any of this. Well, although they do draw the node, the string right here. I need that. I think I need this. This is all I need if we're in our special case. I think it might be as simple as that. I don't need any of this. Okay, so I think it's something simple like that. So I'm going to come in here and say gray, like that, if it is. All right, next I want to say, hey, if e.node is a property node. Oh my gosh, we're working on so many cool things with regards to CodeRush and also in VS Code. We're about to release a very powerful free product for VS Code based on CodeRush templates. It's called Rush Snippets, and it's well engineered and designed to accelerate productivity for VS Code development. So and it's largely compatible with everything. If you're already a CodeRush user, everything you already know with CodeRush, writing code in Visual Studio. Anyway, working on that. Also got some killer stuff coming for CodeRush too, CodeRush as well. That I'm just trying to assemble and put all together. Just put it out in a single release. But I told you about this before, but it basically just blows wide open this accessibility kind of barrier that we've had, because, you know, one of the big problems you have when you're inside of another host environment is that you might take a keystroke to do something, and then because it's available, and guess what? The host environment releases an update and they've now taken that keystroke back from you. And it eliminates that. And I'm like so relieved and happy. And I'm like, I was going through just organizing all the features, right? And, you know, by simplicity of access and, you know, or at least that being the goal, simplicity of access in mind. And I was feeling really good about the end results. So we're still developing that tech, but we're in the process of getting close. Okay, at any rate, let's see. So we've got a property node, and I want to basically say, hey, if property node dot, I think it's going to be is disabled. Then we're going to do that. Otherwise, is there a default draw or something like that? Draw default.
Default, I think, was the
is equal to true. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, I presume this is false.
Clause in there.
What'd you say?
You've not got an else clause.
Oh, sorry. Or return like
there
that.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Good job. Okay, so we just need to check to see if it's disabled or not. Let's declare that. Yeah, even that action right there is going to be faster, right?
Arguably, they're already enabled.
Huh?
I don't know. Does node derive from something which understands enabled already?
I don't know.
But just isn't doing anything about it.
I think you want to move the draw default out one level. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, the secret is, no thanks for that, Coding Gorilla. The secret is I happen to secretly know that everything I've added is a property node, or should be. Property node handles both fields and properties. So, yeah, so you were asking, hey, does node already have it enabled?
Yeah, I'm just curious more than anything else. Okay, maybe not.
I'm gonna say no, probably not. Okay. Now I just need to work on this when we add the property nodes. Right, where is that? Add property nodes. Properties to nodes. I have to do it in... Yeah, I think I have to do it in both, although this is the major place here, and properties not in fields, where I would expect this to be. So we need to come in and we need to say, if I think we need to do this. I think we need to do property node I got so many. So it is property info. Prop info dot property type dot get properties. Shoot, is it a property or it's probably a field? Let's go find that again. We need to go new particle system. Come on, new particle system. Maybe, yeah, let's do that. Dot dot color by speed. That's what I want to drill into, like that guy. Color by speed module. It's a property.
Okay.
All right, cool. And it's public, which is also cool. All right, that's all awesome. As long as they're consistent, I'm going to be okay with that.
There were 2 or 3 others that were exactly like that as well.
Yeah, I noticed them too. All right, so we're going to say we want public instance. Looks like I got a comma there when I wanted to have that. Okay, let's develop in a little wider window. So now what we want to do is get, not get properties. I want to say get property. I bet it's enabled. And then the binding flags. Yeah. Okay. We're going to find out if it has an enabled property. If not null, then we're going to get its value. So we need to do this dot get value. The instance we're going to pass in, whoops. The instance is in property info. This cool class we created. I think, which I guess I got to call get value on. Don't I have an instance? Oh no, wait. Right there, value instance. It's that guy there. I need this slightly afterwards. Because I don't want to call that twice. So value instance is what I'm going to use. That's the instance of this value. So I know this feels a little bit like, wait, what? And now we're going to be able to find out if it's true or not. Let's declare a new variable for it. Which one with value instance does not exist? Oh, sorry. It's going to be prop.value instance. And is there a get value that's generic? There's not, because I'd love to be able to tell if it's the type I want. Just going to do that. Can't do that. Is it on the front side of it? That's okay. All right. And we're going to say enabled. And then we're going to say, if not enabled, then we're going to say prop dot is disabled is equal to true. What's my problem here? What? How dare you?
We can fix that.
Yeah. All right. And then I think that's it. Let's close down TaleSpire.
And of course the testing of it, so that's good.
What'd you say?
I said we've now implemented both the setting and holding of the value correctly, but also the response to having that value.
Yeah. Notice we've got this still out here. We don't quite clean up our effects like we should. We need to look at when TaleSpire is shutting down, and we need to be like, let's kill all our effects. All right, so back over here, TaleSpire core, rebuild. Rebuild all succeeded. I think that's it. All I got to do. Start up Steam. Starting with TaleSpire. So we've come a long way since the beginning of this, when we essentially had no access and nothing was working at all. Remember that, Rory?
the beating of one's head against the wall of "Please let us in."
Yeah, like 3 episodes in a row, we tried things, right,
Yeah.
to kind of work our way in. Since then, we've gotten access to.
That little bit of access. It's amazing what we're managing to achieve through it.
Yeah, and if we get this working, I still haven't. I'm reminding myself I gotta. Oh, and also that note I said before, I need to. If you can remind me before I do the next test, I need to. I need to get the dialogue so they appear on the right monitor. That's what I want to do. All right, edit prefab, add prefab. And let's go find medium fire. And there it is. You can see it appear in the background.
Yep.
And let's go find particle system. Please let there be things. No. Maybe I need to set default draw to false. Okay. Well, let's do a little bit more. I would assume that would be initialized to false coming into the call here. Let's do that. Let's also send some debug messages out here. I'm going to do this. TaleSpire log debug. Did I create? Yeah, I created a template for that. TLD is my shortcut. We're going to say found and enabled property. By the way, I think that if I'm in an argument with people over whether things should be done or not, and everybody else is saying no, and I say yes, I think I'm onto something when that happens.
Interesting.
That's what I think. I take that as, okay, that's a really good sign.
Convinced if one of those other people changes their mind and is on your side?
Wait, so do I become less convinced if that happens?
Yeah, if by definition it's a good idea because everyone else says it's a bad idea.
No,
if some of those join your crusade, does it make it less?
I expect that. What is unnerving is if people leave the crusade, right? In other words, if I say, okay, here's how it should be, and then, maybe it's my fault because I'm not, clearly explaining the vision. Let's just presume that, right? But then later, as more data, as other people get more data, they start to get on board and they're nodding their heads, right? That's a good sign, because what that indicates to me is it indicates that, we're creating a feature that would be difficult for a team to have consensus on to create, right? Mm-hmm. Which gives you a little bit more longevity with that feature.
It does,
right?
yes.
I really try to create things that are so insane that another team would be like, we're not even touching that, right? Like embedded images inside of Visual Studio. Right now, CodeRush has the premier way to solve that problem, right? It looks and feels like an Office document in source code. It's incredibly well written code. A lot of care was created there. Nobody's going to touch that because there's no incremental gain on that. That's not going to cost you months of development, man-months of development, right? And so that's where I like to be, where I create a feature and I've got shelf life on it. And so, and one of the signs that you're in that zone is that devs, like on your own team, are like, wait, what? Right? We had that when I was saying, hey, for reorder parameters, we've got to animate the motion. We've got to do it right in the code, no dialogue. And everybody's like, wait, what?
Been repeated. We've never seen that in anywhere
Right.
else.
And it's still the most efficient, fastest way to solve the problem, and nobody is going to touch it because it's kind of an insane space. That's where I like to write. That's where I like to create things. Well, some of the stuff that I'm telling you about that we're building is in that insane space. I believe that Microsoft is unless we do an incredibly good job documenting it and explaining it, I don't think anybody's going to touch it, right? If we really explain it well.
Things that's simultaneously genius and insane.
Yeah, well,
and what happens is, I think for the users, it'll be genius. For anyone else to deal with or to try, it'll be insane.
Yeah, that's what I like about the wake I leave in the world. This is what gets back to what I was saying earlier. Everything I've done has been incredibly selfish, right? It's for my own personal pleasure that I disrupt the world. That's the only reason is, you know, so I got to work on that. I got to be a better person and
that's the joy of disruption.
yeah, I gotta not have fun all the time, and I gotta, you know, I gotta do something to give back. I don't know. I haven't quite figured that out yet. At any rate, you know, I mean, maybe to be fair, what are the reason is there to disrupt the world? Asked Coding Gorilla. Yeah, to be fair, you know, and to be fully honest, I have not. What I just said wasn't true. When I just said I've got to find a way to give back to the world, I've not actually concluded that. What I've concluded though is there's a pattern to my choices, and I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about that pattern, wondering if that pattern needs to change. All right, so I wanted to just give a little more feedback right up in here. So found an enabled property, cool. And then we're checking to see what the value is on it. Well, let's go ahead and copy that to clipboard, type in my shortcut TLD, so I don't have to type in that ferociously long bunch of garbage, is equal to, and we'll say this, toString. We can just probably do that, and it'll give me a toString on that, I think. Okay, that's my reminder that I've left my good friend Dropbox on. I'm turning it off. Let's, did we shut everything down? We did not. Let's shut everything down. Do I want to quit TaleSpire? Yes, I do. Do I have any events that TaleSpire is shutting down? Let's go look at TaleSpire events. Events. And tap control only in this project. A big fat hook events. On close, back in socket client close. That's not, oh no, wait, that is what I want. Oh no, sorry. It's not what I want. I don't want when the socket closes, I think. Do I have any other close related kinds of events? Close rulers. No. I'm not sure if this is, I don't think this is an indication that TaleSpire is shutting down. I may have to ask the devs for this. By the way, this is also the first environment I've ever modded where the devs have been completely silent to every single email I've ever sent them.
That's just not nice.
What'd you say?
It's just not nice.
Yeah. Yeah, usually I get something back, but yeah, they're busy. I'm gonna give them their space, but I want this. Okay, I think we're ready to build. Wait, nope. Something you need to remind me of. My dialogues.
Was appearing on the right screen.
Show
Correct.
dialogue. I want to get to, I guess, my effect editor. That was in my effect editor. There's no show. Certainly does.
In the house.
Lori, it was quiet.
Sorry, Surly, I'll speak up.
I've got your Skype volumes jammed all the way up on my Stream Deck.
The arm of my mic, perhaps it's just a little far away. How's that? Is that any better?
I'm going to ease up my desktop just a bit too, and see if that helps at all. Enunciate, dear chap. How are we doing?
Good fellow.
I think we're doing okay. Didn't buy it. Now all of a sudden I don't believe you're British anymore.
It's hammered up completely. It just goes to pot, so to speak.
Okay, so nothing is in my effect editor. What? I'm confused by that. I've got this add prefab button. What am I doing? Oh, I've got another call, not show, isn't it? Select prefab. There it is. Okay. Let's go look at its designer. Here we go. Bring up properties. Window start position. Center parent. That should get us closer to where we want to be. Okay. That's
See, the last time I worked with WinForms predates my facility for having more than one monitor.
yeah. Isn't that funny?
That's a problem back then.
It's really funny. I know. I feel like I'm like, you know, like I'm a mechanic and I'm working on a car from the 1950s a little bit in this space. Like, oh, owner draw. Yeah, I remember that. So, okay. We needed this. We needed what else? So when the test, no, not here. Here, when we click this, form effect editor. Okay, sorry. I should have just come in here, done the same thing on this one. Start position. Center parent. And then there's one more piece here. And I'm not sure how to do this one. When we, so I didn't talk to you about the, how I'm implementing the property editor. The way I've built the property editor is with a modular UI system here. This is all work I did over the weekend on this, with different editors. So here's an editor for a Boolean. And here's an editor for a float. See what's going on? There's an int editor. Here's a min-max gradient editor, right? And so, and then I register these. Here's a vector3 editor. It just takes one text box, but it's got skill to convert. And it implements I-value editor, which is, you know, maybe this is a little bit more review than you want, but, or at least, you know, here's what it is.
This is very good. It's sensible. You having the interface allows the rest of your tree and your form to interact with these as and when they're spawned, but not care about how they're implemented. So sure, here's a Boolean editor. I don't know how it works. It could be a radio button, it could be a drop-down list, it could be two big buttons that say true and false, right? There's no need for the overarching application to know how that works. But within it is the facility to take that value and interpret it, or indeed to expose that value back out. And yeah, great way of doing it.
Yeah, so the if we look at the min-max gradient, it's got these buttons right here, and then we call change color. This brings up the dialog. This is the system dialog. Can I, it's got a start position property? Does not look like it.
Is it possible it's a parameter of the initial show dialog?
Maybe? This is a control. Do I have a parent?
This is one of the common dialogues, so this is in like CTO.
I'm going to set it, but what I'm saying, edit min-max gradient, this is a user control. This is a,
yes.
So I don't think I want to make this the parent, but I am going to say its parent is the parent. I think, or is there a better way to do this? I think there's a...
Like to a Win32.
What'd you say?
The parameter for show dialog is of, I forget what kind of nature it was. I'm trying to remember my Win32 programming, because you had to pass a handle back in the day, and I don't know that parent or form or any variant of that, does that translate naturally? Does it?
It totally does. It totally does. Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create my own piece over here. Control descends from component, which descends from Marshall by ref object. Holy cow! I don't think I want to go back that far. All right. I wonder what the form is. Does the form control? The form probably descends from control. Then I bet that's the case. Form container control, which probably goes to scroll. Okay, scrollable control, which goes to control. Okay. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to say parent form is equal to the parent, and then we're going to say while parent form dot parent is not null, and we're going to say parent form is equal to parent form dot parent, like that. And I think it stops. I think the form has no parent. And then we're going to say return parent form. Okay. So there's our call there. Hopefully that'll fix show dialog as well. TaleSpire is not running. Let's build. Okay, this is trying to reach out and make a copy to my network. It looks like the network machine is turned off. It looks like we still got a good build, aside from that failure. So let's start up. TaleSpire. Here's the log. There's the TaleSpire window. So really, that was Rory any better in terms of his volume?
That's a good question. Is this a reasonable volume for you? Can you hear me this time?
I'm going to. I think I'm going to change my setup. That's what I'm going to do. All right. Edit prefab, not really. Edit prefab showed up down in the bottom, down here. Why would I do that? Add prefab, also showing up on the wrong monitor. Huh. I didn't get that at all.
Is it possible that the parameters we're altering are only changing the owner of the dialogue, not the location?
No, we changed the original ones. What do you got? Who got quiet? I got quiet. Check, 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 check. Yeah, you're right. Although I don't want to go over the top. A little bit. I'm right on the edge. Looks like I'm back. Check, check, check. Okay, so this is perfect. All right. Okay. Well. Let's keep going. Let's see if we at least made progress on space number 2. Particle system. Oh, look at this. It's working.
Disabled items. Very nice.
So we didn't see this before.
Changed anything for that?
I just sent the messages out. That's all I did. But okay. That's weird. No, wait, did I make one change? I did. I made one change, Rory. You know what the change was that I made? Let's go back and find that. I'll show you. I did this. I thought that would be by default.
But you know what? Not a bad call, eh?
Yeah, I bet this is the line that's needed and this is the line that's not. Yeah, it was just my assumption. The default value is false. Well, that's what they say, but we saw something that didn't seem to be what we saw.
No.
Interesting, but that was the line of code I changed. All right, cool. So
it's working now, so that's good.
All right, next. That's weird about the. I don't want to pursue the form appearance thing. I feel like we did the due diligence on that. I think that I'm gonna have to figure something else out on that. Yeah, add prefab is definitely putting it on my second monitor. Doesn't make sense. Okay, next. Now these guys here in this tree, let's go explore that for a second.
So that's the representation of your composite effect, is it?
Kind of, right? The idea here is that add prefab and create empty are going to be able to create, in fact, they already kind of do. Create empty, I think, doesn't do anything yet. But if I come into add prefab here and I say, let's add a child to it, I'll take the fire ring, all right? It adds it as a child. And we should be able to modify it. There it is right there. So you can see we've got the fire ring on the outside and the fireball on the inside. And what'd you say?
That's really cool. just to be able to do that in real time.
Yeah, no, that's kind of the idea, right? Is to be able to say, okay, let's figure it out. Then I should be able to come in here. Now, sweet. Yeah, that's awesome what we've done. So take a look at it now. Now I can see, oh, it's not using color by speed. It's using color over lifetime. We know that's enabled, right? Which I wonder if, oh, you know what we don't have though? Oh, wow, what's going on here?
It didn't override the selected.
When I click,
So it's...
I have to draw my own code when it's selected.
Well, there was some focus code that we got rid of, so...
I think there's a, as I recall, there's a draw selected. There's an option to do this. If it's selected, we have to ask that question. And if it is, hold on, let's go back here. Selected, fill rectangle, use the default background in node text. Shoot. All right, let's do tree view, owner, draw, selected node. Isn't owner draw text only? Is that some option we had or something? Text only. Selected node is white on white background. I think there's an easy solution to this. I don't think I'd call it a glitch necessarily, but yeah, that's not quite what I'm doing. So this is a different problem. It's not, I think, the problem we're having. We're having it when we select it. It's kind of blowing my mind here, right? If any node is selected, it is white on white. Let's go take a look at it
What's
again.
a little strange for me is in our example code that we copied from, we didn't use the code eventually, but it had two pieces. It said one to conditionally do something if it was selected, and then there was a second piece of code elsewhere to say whether to do some sort of drawing if it was focused. And
Yeah.
to me, those were sort of the same thing. Is there a subtle distinction there that I'm missing?
I think focus means it's active, and selected means it's selected but inactive. If focus is not true.
So select a node and then go to an entirely different control.
Right.
It remains highlighted, but it has not got focus any longer.
Yeah, that's my take on it.
Okay.
That's my take on it. Here's the thing that's bizarre, is we only draw, if we only have code that draws a string if we're disabled. That's it.
Yeah.
It's, what's bizarre to me is if I say use default draw, I should not be seeing this when I select it. Oh, here when I select it, it's fine. Oh, look, it doesn't draw the focus box around it. Oh my gosh, you guys are killing me. Oh my God, I feel like I've seen this problem before, but it feels like I'm not happy about the implementation. Where's my focus rect here? There it is, right there. Guess I gotta grab that. There's a background color, selection color, something like that. We have to set selection color if it's selected. I feel like I've seen this problem and solved this problem years ago. Node bounds? Really, guys? Okay, if your example in code includes this, it should be a sign. And maybe your API is incomplete. Oh my God, you're absolutely starting to kill me now. Okay. Now I need a reference to my tree view. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to pass it in here. What's this tag font thing? Okay. Roy, can you save me from being so critical of things right now?
I'm trying to think when this API was written. It's a long time ago now. This was one of the early ones, wasn't it? This is
these people older than people older than me wrote this code. Older than me wrote this code. Check my mic. Check. How's that? That's okay.
The other thing, it was written before generics existed in .NET as well.
Before what?
Before any generics were entered into .NET, it was there before that. So that's why you have things like tag, which is an object, and there was no, node of T kind of logic that you could potentially use.
Let's do this. If sender is tree view.
It's coding gorilla. I believe it was 2001, thereabouts, or certainly the first release was around then.
Move this up to the top. Yeah, this should be easy, not hard. You understand what I'm saying, Rory? Do you understand the difference between these two? do you get this? Okay, so
it should. This is true.
All right, so I want to send a tree view there to node bounds. Oh my God, you're absolutely killing me on this. Yeah, I remember seeing this before, and I was like, what? And I was like, all right, okay, what's going on with tag font? The font that I want to use. Fine. I'm passing in the font.
This I believe is the sort of standard problem with owner draw is like, so you want to override a small part of what you're doing. That's fine. Please draw everything else as well.
Yeah, they got me excited when they said, the mode was owner draw text only. Let's go get that mode and search for this.
It's interesting though, if you are going to mess with the font, with the text that's there is an argument that says it sort of makes sense that the focus rectangle needs to be messed with, because you could be enlarging the size of that font, at which point the focus rectangle needs to be drawn as well.
No, I get that. But this method that does that belongs in tree node or tree view. Do you understand what I'm saying? The fact that every for all the thousands of people that want to write this have to copy this method and adjust it is a little bit bizarre to me. But they should at the very least have this built in. I kind of shaking my head stunned a little bit on this. Okay, owner draw text. I'm going to go back. Did I have that in my search term? I want that. Owner draw text. Selected node is white. Selected node text is white on white background. Give me something this time. That's not what I want. Oh man, I feel like it's a sea of noise. Well, I suppose I could just do this. Oh, it's killing me. It's just killing me. I shouldn't have to do any of this. I shouldn't have to do any of this. If I say default draw and I say owner draw text only, it should just be like, okay, in other words, if I get out of here, I should not have this problem, right? Because that's what's happening. I'm getting out of here. Here I'm not when I select it. it's not drawing the background color. I want to draw text. Maybe that's my search term. Fails to draw background when selected. Did I lose you, Rory? Are you back?
I'm back. Yeah, there was definitely a loss there. How's your up and download at the minute looking?
Good. My upload's good.
Okay. Must be at my end then.
Dude,
Yes.
the chat room.
Okay.
I guess, yeah.
So, I'm gonna
But the problem is now
change the font.
I just have to draw everything now. Is kind of what's happening. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Is kind of where we're at. But maybe let's just do it. You're right. It's easier to just get out of here. And so what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take all of this. I'm going to move it down. Actually, all of this too. And we're going to just introduce a local for this. We're just draw no matter what. I'm kind of like, so sometimes I imagine conversations with developers, like when I'm in spaces like this, I'm like, do you think they could really, is there an argument that they could really justify all of this? And sometimes I like with this one, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't think so. All right, so we want to do this here. Otherwise, we want to do black there.
See,
That's
I
what
feel
we
like
want.
when you're developing an API, you should kind of be forced to use it in 2 or 3 different locations yourself to sort of experience the potential frustration. Yeah. I'm messing around on the side with some C++ and OpenGL and stuff, and making a really, really poor game engine. And what I did is I said, okay, well look, I'm going to have a little character I can move left and move right and all the rest of it, and let's make a second and a third game that use this engine. They'll do mostly the same stuff, and the idea is to push as much down into the engine as possible, but still give you the ability to override it where you need to, not force you to write the same code in every single time you want to use it. And so far I've written less than 30 lines of code on my sort of simple implementation, which is really nice because it means that you can try these things really quickly. Your engine gets better and better, your API gets better and better, and you reap the benefits.
Yeah. I missed this earlier. Coding Gorilla says I was never a big fan of Win32 APIs. Yeah, no kidding. Microsoft had a serious API problem. The epitome of it, I think, happened in, I want to say like sometime between 1990. So I think it was 1995 maybe. They were introducing OLE linking, object linking and embedding. And I was in a room of about 5,000 developers for several hours who all had their jaws dropped open. They were like, what the F is all of this? Hey, there's Karen. How you doing, Karen? You haven't been around for like 2 weeks. Do you know it was Bachelor Week here?
Yeah, I know. You know how I know? I came home and stuck to the floors like it was a frat party going on here.
Right. I shouldn't have also now in retrospect shouldn't have kept all those receipts from the strip club now that I think about it.
It's a family show.
I'm sorry, you're right. It's a family show. I'm talking about the strip club where I buy bacon strips of bacon.
Yes, good.
Good stuff. All right. It's a family show. All right. So, all right. I think this will work. I think this will be better. Do I want to take a look at what's going on with the positioning? Do I want to just force it? Right? Force the solution. When we call this to bring this up, yeah, this guy, from my perspective, if I right-click this and say Properties, this Windows Start Position, Center Parent.
That feels correct, doesn't it?
I wonder if it doesn't have a parent. I wonder if that's what's going on. Is when I create it, I think it's the thing you were alluding to earlier, Rory. It has a parameter and constructor, and maybe I'm failing to set that parent. Let's try that. Let's see if that's going to help solve this problem. Where do we create an instance of this? Here. You said it's in the show. There it is. Owner. This.
That's an owner, so we have to assume that that's the parent as well.
Yeah. So, all right. So, I'm sorry, what did you say?
So I guess we have to assume that parent and owner mean the same thing for the purposes of this.
Yeah. And, okay, so there's that one. When I choose add prefab, I thought we did fix one here. Select prefab. We did not.
Collect the parent and the parent of the parent of the parent and the parent, and then we want to find the ultimate parent of the control, I believe it was, and then we used that as the owner.
Owner. This is just going to be a control. Show dialogue. Owner. Okay. I think we got a chance of this thing working. I think that the... All right, let's see if that works. We're shut down. Let's rebuild. Okay, looks like we're good. All right, start at TaleSpire. So while this is clever, this trick of using these different pieces, and it's, you know, not a lot of code to do it, it still feels crude to me. It doesn't feel elegant yet. So I'm, you know, hopefully I want to get it somewhere close to elegant is what I want to do. Get a little closer to elegant. That would be a good goal. Okay. Edit prefab. Oh, nice. It is. That's
there
working. Add prefab. Sweet. Much better. Okay, cool. All right. Let's grab. We got some R4 stuff coming in. I was seeing errors on that before. Maybe it's from a different place. Wait. I'm like super confused. These should all be not there. What is that gonna work? It totally works. Huh, that's weird. I don't think this button works. So for some of these prefabs here, like that one right there, it's got a life that's short and it's gone. I don't have any way yet to re-invoke it.
You can't reset.
Yeah, let's go see what's going on in here. If we have any, we need something with a particle system in it. Nope, it didn't fix it. It's really weird. Did I totally mess this up? Hold on, let's close this down and edit prefab again. Let's go grab the medium fire. Did not bring in our effects. It brought in the other ones. These had not been loading for a while, and I assumed it was because of a problem I created, but now I'm starting to think that the problem I created is a naming collision problem, and somehow it loaded the R4 ones first. Okay, let's grab another one that can last a little longer if I can recognize any of these. Fire Tornado, I think, goes forever. All right. Fire Tornado. Isn't that sweet? Sweet bit of coding. It's not bad. All right, so now, any particle effects in that? Wait a minute. Okay, here's one with particle effects in it. All right. So if it's disabled, it draws it correctly. Wait, this is working now. Wait. Why is this working? Oh, I've got an error on another. Hold on. Set method not found for particle count. So here's an example where it has no children and no set method. It should not be here. Interesting. So I gotta stop this exception from coming up. Why? It also seems like really clunky in terms of its upgrade drawing speed. Click, 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 click. It's not bad, I guess. Here it's not bad. Okay. Where was this dying before? Where was it not working? Okay, now it's just all... Oh, here.
Oh, there we go.
I think I know what's going on. Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's not a property node. It's a field or some other node. This is a... we need to do the same. We need to draw it no matter what. Okay. I think I'm close to wrapping this up. Oh, this file's getting big. Okay. All right. I think the code is now just this. That's what it is. All right, so that's going to fix that. All right, let's take a look at the next problem on this. Or maybe actually a good, you know what, let's get test effect working. This button right here. Let's figure out why that isn't working. I think it's because simply I don't have any code there yet to make that work. What's happening in test effect? Okay. Remove the existing test effect and add a new one. Okay. When I call add prefab, let's see how am I at it creating that effect. Okay, so I've got something called a game object node. This is for that tree view in the upper left, and it's just got a game object property in it. It's a descendant of tree node.
Yeah.
Okay. Be right back, Surly says. Got to deliver a burger to my mom's. Hopefully, you'll still be here, Rory. So you cherry pick, and then reset, keeping the code in the working tree. Then add. What are you talking about, Rory? What is going on?
Surly's wanting some Git advice.
Ah, okay. All right. Cool. All right. Text is equal to prefab name. Game object is we clone it. The act of cloning it is what adds it. We can give it an instance ID here.
Okay.
But I only want to give it an instance ID I only want to give it an instance ID if selected node is null. Like that. Shoot. Okay. So I think we're going to have to do this. Pull this out. Bring this back up here. And say node.gameObject. So we set the game object after that. And here's where we need the instance ID. And I think I'm going to need a list of instance IDs. These are all the ones that we've created during this.
Okay.
And oh, you know what though? Okay, never mind. I am not. I thought that I was parenting these in the same structure, but it appears that is not the case. It's only within the hierarchy that I'm parenting them. The implication of this is if I delete the first one, the parent one, it won't delete all its children because they're not its children yet. Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't added them to that yet. If I'm going to continue that along with that space, which I can, then I want to give everything an instance ID. So let's do that. What is it? Good dot new good dot toString and then we're going to say instance IDs dot add that guy. And I think that's it for this. Now, to clear them, we don't have a clear effect button. I think I want to add that. So we'll get clear working first. TaleSpire, instances, delete, instance ID. Okay, that should clear
Yep.
all of those. Then I want to clear all of these. And that's my clear. Now, if we look at the way these are created, right, what's happening when I create the effect is, well, here's kind of getting into the problem here, is that creating the effect, recreating it, I'm not storing the changes that we're making. Right? Right now, I've got this game object node, right? What I really need, well, I need game object node to maybe have a reference to a composite effect.
Yeah.
That's what I called it. Where are you? Okay. And then we're going to come in here and say game node is equal to that. Composite effect is equal to new composite effect, like that. And never done this before. Nested object initialization. Got something in here, prefab. It's a string that's equal to prefab name. what is the other property I have in here? Children, delay start, props, and scripts. Okay. So I'm just going to set that for now. Okay. So now my node's got a composite effect in it. And looks like I hit a button that I didn't expect to hit. Then down in the test effect button, what I need to do is go through the tree node, find all the composite effects. Bonk. It's time for my show, says Pudding.
Hey, Pudding. Well, I feel like I kind of have to high-five Pudding on the way past as I sort of depart.
All right, buddy. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Fun out, don't you know?
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
All right, buddy. I appreciate
All
your
right,
help.
my friend.
All right.
Catch up soon, all right?
Take care. Thanks
Bye.
for joining us. Roy's great, isn't he, Fred? All right, so if it's game object node, then I'm going to say if game object node dot composite effect is not null, then we're going to say game object composite effect dot create. Whoa! I was not expecting that to be there. And I'm looking for 2 different positions and an instance ID. Let's go find our instance IDs in here. All right, I'm just going to inline this right here, get new instance ID. Like that. So we can clean them up automatically. Okay, so I need this. What's going on in this code? Oh, it's actually working. Calls clone. Target position, source position, not currently used, either one. So that means I get to pass in null for both of those for now. All right, so let's see here. We're going for each node, tree node in there. We need to extract this because we need a recursive call essentially into this. So let's extract this to its own method. We're going to call this add effects for nodes. Let's see, selection increase. No promote to parameter. Introduce local then. Now promote to parameter. Okay, like that. All right, perfect. So add effect for nodes is there. Remove existing test effect and add a new one. I did not remove it, so we need to clear. Drones are flying. Like that. So clear the test effects, add effects for nodes. Then we've got some nodes there, we want to basically go in and say add effects for nodes and just recursively go through it, passing in object node.nodes like that. So we can recursively drill in to it. And I think that's it. Certainly, could you found a better place to park that didn't block more code? Young man, come on, Surly. Maybe hit the dock button. All right, let's rebuild. This guy's still running. Let's close this down. See how those changes work for us. So looking to see if we can. Expecting another button here, clear test effect to work so we can restart it. And that would allow us to make changes, especially for these effects that are temporal, that last for just a little bit of time. Okay, rebuild. Okay, that's good. Start it up. This time I got a load on R4 canceled, and I'm back to seeing my the other particles from the other assembly. So yeah, it sounds like there's just something conflicting between the two. I have to check those logs. Let's go into edit prefab, add prefab, different set though. So let's see what happens with this. Does it go away or does it stay? Looks like it stays. All right, cool. Let's see if the clear effect button works. Nice. Let's see if test effect button works. Is that a crash? That's a crash. All right. Add effects for nodes. Now it was a quick crash, so it's not like a stack overflow, right? Stack overflow would take a lot longer to crash. I think I'm just going to put this in a try catch and see what's going on with it. I just want to review it. Is there something I'm just not spotting here? I don't see it. I don't see the problem with it. Is there some problem with create? Oh, it's here. All right, so I can't pass in. I incorrectly assumed that I can pass in null and null there. I need to get good positioning in there. Okay. Then up here, we're going to need to grab those two. I've already got code to get them. Their positions. Okay. What if I did this, though? Character position. That. We said... I really think I only am using position on this right now. 0, 0, 0. I just want to play in the 0, 0, 0 space is what I want to do. Let's double check that the call to create that we're only using its position here. Okay, let's move X over by 10. So that in case we ever start using that. All right, I think that's going to work. All right, rebuild. All right, let's test it out. Start up TaleSpire. Creature Next is out there. Hey, Creature Next. Wait, did you not like the P for pudding? I didn't see it. Show me the P. Was that what was in the middle of the screen? I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Creature Next? We're just modding TaleSpire here. Kicking in, creating our own spell effects for it. Here comes the letter P. Let's see, check it out. Get in position, guys. Come on. Oh, oh. Oh. Impressive. Good drone flying, everybody. Good job. Give yourselves a hand. It's loading up. I'm going to drag it up onto the top monitor here. Mod loading canceled. For one of those mods. Okay, so edit prefab. Let's take this and move it down over here. Add a prefab. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, cool. So this is an effect that we would definitely want to be able to try it a second time. So if I hit test effect, nice. So now that's working. I can do clear effect and it just goes away. Nice. Now let's... Uh-oh, I just right-clicked it and I'm getting this. Exception has been thrown by the target of an invocation. Was it the right-click or the... Yeah, I'm seeing it again. Exception. I think there's more data here. Something's happening down here. Notice I'm not getting those properties. Let's go look at that. Not that. It's in show properties. It's right here. Okay. All right. Let's quit TaleSpire. So we can get a little more detail on that. Today's halftime show brought to you by Surly Dev. Christian X says, not too bad. Yo, it looks so cool. I think he's talking about the beard. Beard's pretty cool. I want to get these effects looking cool. That's what I want. I want an effect editor that's powerful, easy to use. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm trying to get from here to there with the least amount of code, the least amount of time spent. That's what I'm trying to do. And it just kind of feels like progress is kind of like, kind of clunking along, not as fast as I want it to be. Pogs P for pudding. All right, Surly, I'm going to write you a feature in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to let you pick one feature that you want for the drones. I don't think I'm going to write three-dimensional drone flying in TaleSpire. I don't think I'm going to do that. That's a lot more. It's not terribly hard, but it's like, come on, man. Let's save that for later, but I'll get you something else here. If you want, like, for example, them to draw paints or drop paint in a different way, something like that, let me know. Give me something in the next 2 weeks. Is that a fair promise? Maybe not a promise. I maybe won't make that promise. But if there's something you want, let me know. And we'll spend some time over with the drones. Okay. Okay. There's no bombs, no sound at all. So when you say no sound at all, just no sound? Or do you want to also be kind of invisible? When you say no bombs, yeah, tell me more about this. Do you mean, you don't mean no meteors? You want the meteors still on top? All right, let me know. Meanwhile, let's go start up TaleSpire. Like this. So no sounds in this mode. Is that right? So you still want the effects, the visual effects, but no sound. So you want to be able to drop a meteor, but no sound on the drop, right? See if you can confirm that for me. I see a couple yeses in there, but I'm not sure it was to my last question. Yes. Okay. All right, that should be pretty easy to do. Stealth mode. Okay. That's your feature. Steam client update has been downloaded. Close right now. Just play. Might keep an eye on this too to get a sense of what my loading problem is. One of the resources won't load. We saw in one of the startups that it loaded, but then the other resource asset bundle didn't load. I was like, what? Why would it be the same way every time, so many times, and then once it was different? But that indicates some sort of collision. Here we go, starting up. Looks like it, well, it says there, I was gonna say it looks like it got them, but then it's canceled. Could not load scenes. There's a problem with this, could not load scenes. Oh, because it's selected, we're frozen over here. Couldn't find export settings, okay. All right, I'll look at those later. Let's meanwhile go in here, edit prefab, add prefab. Let's grab one of these. Okay. Not seeing this message as we saw before. Was it with a specific prefab? I don't remember what that prefab was. Ah, that was it. It's 9. No errors now, though. Okay. For now, let's clear the effect, and now let's see if test effect brings them both in. Nice. But over here, it's too low. Is that my 0, 0? I thought this was 0, 0. Oh no, it's using target position. Target position is over by 10. I see. Okay, slightly my fault on that. Well, I guess isn't everything on this show. All right, let's go look at the source position. Let's make that yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Okay. So the cool thing is, though, oh, and I want to bring it up a bit. I want to bring it up about 0.5. Is that fair to say or not? Depends on the effect, actually. This was speaking to something I said before, where some of the effects are meant to happen at ground level because they like tear apart the ground and they open it up. And other effects are meant to happen higher. And it's really on an effect by effect basis. All right. All right, so those two changes. There's something else. Oh, yeah. So let's say I come in and make a change to it. And now here we go. No inner exception. Just that one? That's not helpful at all. When I open it up, exception has been thrown by the target of an invocation. Oh, in that case I've got what appears to be an inner exception. Why didn't that work? Let's go look at the code we just wrote on that. That should work. Why would it have an inner exception with an empty message? The strangest structure. Okay. Yeah, that like went away when I click here. So somebody's definitely curious about this. Is it the is it my painting? I don't think it's my painting code, is it? Maybe it's my painting code. The exception dialog is showing up on the other page, and every time I hit it, okay on it, I feel like losing a node. And then they all went away. it's when I'm clicking on these. So let's go look at that code and add some protective code there. And I should end the show soon because I've got a whole bunch of stuff I need to go focus on. Show properties. Add properties to node. Let's do this. Stack trace in it as well. Hey, watch that. Yeah, I'm still stunned as to how we have an inner exception with no message on it. Is that something that doesn't make sense for anything I would be dealing with? Oh, you know what? I didn't when we got the exception. With some exception types don't normally use messages. Set the title of the dialog to something like ex get type of name. Yeah, good suggestion. I was kind of thinking that. Thinking of something similar to that, putting the type in there somewhere. I'm happy to do it here though. Okay. So I've got the stack trace. I have that. The only other piece that I don't have, we can just look here. In the TaleSpire debug log, it'll tell us what we were trying to find. Down at the end, maybe? Huh. It's not what I'm expecting. When I get this, adding properties, Unity, game object transform has properties is the last thing we see. And we see exceptions been thrown by the target of an invocation. And then the inner exception is there. We don't actually get here. I don't see, wait, add properties to nodes for type unity.gameObject. Okay. 12 properties. All right, well, got more data now. Let's close this down. We'll get this, bring this up. I think we'll end the show after that. I'm going to be able to plant gardens silently. Got it, Surly. Okay, that's good. Last time bringing this up to play. What's interesting is these seem to be new issues. I haven't seen these before, which would imply that they're related to changes we made today. Yeah, now all the R4 effects are now loaded again. Let's add a prefab to it. We'll grab 9. It shoots the fireball off to the side. And let's clear the effect and test it. All right. And now, can we recreate? Okay, here we go. It's a reflection. Looks like I'm trying to make a call. Get value. So add properties is basically where the problem seems to be. Target invocation. So interesting. It looks like I might have to. And the inner ref is a null ref exception on it. Is it related to clearing the effect and bringing it back? I think that's my clue. I think that might be it. Let's see if we can look at that code just really quickly. That's my problem, I'm pretty sure. So game object is set when we first create it, add the prefab. When we do the clone. But later, when we call create, here, what we really need is we need to say game object node dot game object is equal to composite effect dot create. Does that return anything? It does not. Let's return that effect. Okay. Like that. I think that might fix the problem. We just need to re-update that game object to the new piece that's out there. Let's try that. Let's close this. Yeah. Now at least I understand the error. Thanks for your suggestion on that, Coding Gorilla. You know, it's just occurring to me, I can clean up when my forms are closed. My forms might be closed automatically in the process of shutting down. That's how I can hook into that close. I can try that. Okay. Switching over to Steam. Here's the debug log. Cool. Nice. All right, so then let's clear the effect. Test again. Nice. There's the two together. And now let's see if I can click on these without errors. That was it. That's the fix. I still get this sometimes, but that's a separate error. We'll look at that later. All right, kids, I've got to, get on to other things. And that's what I'm going to do. So, with that, let's move the camera down. Test effect button. I'll get a raid going up here. Here's the test effect for you right there. Send it over to Obother again. That's how I'd want to be spending my time. Everybody doing good? We'll see you on Tuesday or maybe tomorrow for Kids Code. And on Saturday as well. We're doing some cool stuff over there in Kids Code with the super number. All right, we'll see you later. Have a good day.